We have been told so often that the Founding Fathers were men of the Enlightenment, and the implication is that basically they were unbelievers. In reality, the vast majority of them were professing, committed Christians. Furthermore, what they don't tell you is that while there was an unbelieving side to the Enlightenment, represented by skeptics like Voltaire or David Hume, there was also a major branch of the Enlightenment that was very committed to the Scriptures, represented by thinkers like Sir William Blackstone and John Locke and Baron Montesquieu. Rabbi Daniel Lapin is the president of the Alliance of Jews and Christians. Here he is with a couple of comments on the controversy surrounding the concept of America's Judeo-Christian roots.
You know, I'm really astounded at the abysmal ignorance that flows like a Niagara-like cascade of darkness throughout our education. You know, it's not an accident, I think, that public education in America focuses on isolating students from our history here in America and does everything possible to produce an unbelievable lack of awareness as to who the founders really were. It is simply not possible for any open-minded scrutiny of those remarkable human beings to result in a conclusion that they were anything other than deeply committed, traditional, Bible-believing Christians. I'm often asked why the battle over American history matters. And the reason it matters is because the path to tyranny requires one to isolate a population from its history and to be able to substitute a distorted history, which then allows one to create a future quite isolated from the genuine history. This has always been done. In every anti-biblical revolutionary movement in the history of the world, the idea has always been to isolate people from their history. And this is why the very first example of this, of course, is chapter 11 in Genesis, the Tower of Babel. And it begins in the Hebrew text, and I teach this in my programs. The Hebrew text emphasizes that the people were in a new place, which means isolated from any awareness of their history. After all, you know, it's only a few short years to go back to the time when God saved Noah, and you would have thought people would still be talking about that in the same way that we talk about events of generations ago. Nonetheless, the leader of that revolutionary movement isolated people from their background and from their history, and that's what we do today. We teach children at American schools, at public education institutions. We teach children only everything that is rotten and bad that they can find about Americans' past, isolating children from everything that is glorious and good and noble about the founding of this country.
It's vitally important that the truth about American history be retaught in our nation's schools. Half of the reason we have all these Marxists wreaking havoc in the streets of America is probably because they've been brainwashed in schools into thinking that America is evil. It always was and is now, and therefore it must be torn down until the Marxists can build their supposed utopia here. But utopia is exactly the right word, because utopia means, in Greek, no place. There's no place on earth where Marxism brings peace and stability and prosperity. But there are places where faith in the Bible has brought, by and large, prosperity for many. Historically, America was such a place and can be once again. What the Bible says stands for all time. Righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. For Providence Forum, I'm Jerry Newcomb.